I'm gonna literally have an episode where I start on a chip crunch. And I'm not gonna apologize, goddammit. Ooh, radioactive water. Lovely. I mentioned crafting things, so if I did mention egg noodles in the last recording session, I definitely didn't mention the table I made. So I would say, oh, I should get a picture, but I'm not gonna get a picture. That would take too much. That would take too much time. Alright, so if you don't know what lap joints are, and it's not really lap joints. It is a lap joint, but like, I don't know how to best describe some of these joints, but imagine, if you will, basically a half lap, which is to say, like, there is a board, you have a board and a board, and there are cutouts that, matching cutouts that they, connect with. Except basically, this is a table, a shelf table thing. Well, okay, if I'm gonna get real specific, you know, like, there's one, okay, so it's like, the first shelf is the bottom, and it is also like one leg, basically. Well, not one leg, but it's, you know, it is, the bottom shelf is on the floor. And then you've got you've got two pieces on either side, either side in the back, and then one in the middle of the front. The legs are, I think they're 2x4s, and they're definitely 2x4s. And the shelf is like a 2x, I think it's a 2x8, maybe a 2x6. I think it's a 2x8. I don't know. And then, I don't know, 10 inches up. No, probably like 17 inches up. I don't know. 17.25 inches. Actually, 17.24. You know. Is another shelf, and then sitting on top of it, and with the same sort of lap joint arrangement, then on top of that, without the lap joint arrangement, is the tabletop, which I didn't want to screw in, but like, things didn't match perfectly, and dowels do not, like, they don't anchor down. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but like, you know, if you have two boards and like nothing's perfectly flat, and like there's a little bit of bend, then you screw something down, and then the top piece, you know, gets anchored down. That is, I really didn't want to do screws, but it was like, I can't take too much time on this because I have other things I need to do. And I need to, I'm gonna try and get a few resources here, even though this isn't the stuff I need. Also, I can't be wasting time here. I don't think I need iron. Oh, it's already dead. Getting really excited. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm too bad on commentary, but I think I just hold myself to too high of a standard. With this table, like, actually, I think it turned out really good for what it is. Basically, our cat knocked over a table, and broke it. I built that one as well, and it had some problems. The legs were completely unstable, and frankly, using that table was not my idea. My mom did it anyway. She liked how it looked, and it was actually surprisingly stable for what it was, and it was really sturdy, honestly. But it broke, and I had a bunch of, pieces that I needed to put together. And I don't know, I really liked how it came out, actually. Like, it would have been, I think it would have been marginally easier to have 4, and I could have, because I did have the pieces. I wanted to save one of the 2x4s, hopefully for my workbench, but we'll see. Shit. It is nice that they do give these materials, but hot damn. What was I gonna say? It's also kind of crazy that there's just spice. I mean, like, in this sort of a game where they want to try and, like, where they're not going to try and specialize things a huge amount, I guess it makes sense, but also, wouldn't it be cool? Oh, I'm sorry. It was the wrong button, and I did not mean to mining laser you, my dude. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like, well, for one thing, I went from having this shitty table to having a much better table and a much better looking table, and I actually, well, I will say communication's also one thing I need to work on, because I thought I had explained to my mother that, hey, these are like, so like, I'm not going to I can't repair this table, like, things have broken. I frankly, like this was a thing I thought I could do, and I probably could do it better now, but like, I can't really remake it because of the way it broke, and like, okay, technically maybe I probably could have, but I also was like, I had a completely different idea of how I wanted to do things. I wanted to take the 2x8s, which were the legs, actually, and the 2x4s were like this slat sort of surface thing, which is just to say that there was a 2x4, and then there was 2x4s arranged, with the 4-inch section being vertical, and then, a gap of like an inch between or whatever. And yeah, my idea was basically to take the 2x4s, turn them into like legs, like X-shaped legs, and which would require some relatively precise work on the table saw. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this, and I need to use a 2x4 for my workbench, which I still need to do. But yeah, sorry. So communication was a thing where I thought I had communicated that, hey, like, I'm recycling this stuff, and it's going to be smaller table. I thought I had said that, and I thought she was okay with that. And I mean, she's not like angry. I also, well, I don't know. She literally told me that I am like not too precious, but like I do not need to worry about you know, supplies. Like, we can get more wood. It is fine. But I still try and just use everything up as I can, because frankly, for one thing, it is also just more space that I need to burn through. That's part of the thing I wanted to do with my workbench, because I need a workbench. I need a proper workbench. There's like a folding table we're using, not as a workbench, but as just a thing to hold stuff, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. Now, I will say that I do have a problem with biting off more than I can chew. Starfield. I think the dimensions for my workbench are 4 by 8 feet? 4 feet by 8 feet? And I had a 3 by 10, I'm sorry, I had a 2 by 10 that I turned into into 3 2x3s, except, like, that's not how that happened. Because I was using a table saw, the small table saw, and it wasn't secured to anything because I don't have anything to secure it to. I guess I could have, well, I don't know. So it was a unstable mess, and there's one piece that's probably like, that might be like a 2x5. That might be a 2x5 on one end, and then a 2x3 on the other. And there's the pieces that are like a 2x. There's one piece that's the center support of the thing. It's a whole deal. I took the time. Okay, so, and I'm bad. I need to just be working on. I need to just try and be working on more things more regularly, not every day, necessarily. And like right now, I'm putting in wood flooring in my parents' bedroom, which I fucking hate. Honestly, like, I don't hate the flooring. It's not bad flooring. I mean, I don't know. But, like, I just hate doing it. It's like, it's just a lot of hammering things in. And, like, especially around, there are some trouble areas. Like, we did it to a degree. Also, I should move on, I apologize. Oh, you know what? It's fauna that I'm looking at that I'm... Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll, Oh, nothing in the ocean? Oh, dude, I am so overdue for something being in the, something being in the, ocean, and I cannot believe how lucky I've been to not get anything. What the fuck was I saying? I don't know. It's also like, there are some things that it's like, look, I'm not a professional. I am not a professional at installing flooring. And, like, I think, like, to some degree, it's just, like, I don't think, like, I have necessarily those expectations on me. But, like, I don't think I necessarily do, but it feels like that from outward sources, and I guess myself also, like, and it's just like, to some degree it is just like, fuck it, cheap asses, just hire professionals. Like, you're going to, like, this would be so much better if you just hired professionals. And I don't know, it's from my parents, you know, so it's a thing. So, like, you know, talking about expenses is certainly a thing that could happen, but I'd rather not. But yeah, there are some trouble areas because, like, we didn't do the bedroom, but we did the hallway outside of the bedroom, and look, I don't know. Maybe I don't have to, but I did because I'm pretty sure I really kind of need to. The end boards should continue into the bedroom. Of course they didn't because we, you know, and for like literally like 2 or 3 years or whatever, we didn't, you know, continue it. So like it absolutely made sense to do what we did. And have it like terminate at the door frame, but now have to go back and replace those end pieces. Have to replace those end pieces with have to replace them with full boards that go into the room. Have to, absolutely have to. And because of that, it is very difficult to take those pieces out when they've already been put in, and like they're really tight. I did a real good job putting them in, and like there's one piece that like I basically have to slide it in on, you know, like on 3 sides, as is to say that there's, you know, the left and right and then the back, and then I have to hammer it in through the front, if that makes any sense. But it literally has to go in 3 ways, like 60% the length of a board, which means I am fucking wailing on the thing. Maybe not wailing on the thing, but there's a lot of hammering going on, and there's literally no fucking way I can do it without shipping the end of the board, which just makes it look like shit. I was like, that's like, I know, and there's like a little rubber guard piece that's supposed to slip in on the corner, so that doesn't happen, but like, that's not, no, it's going to happen no matter what, and like, there's nothing I can do about that. And it's just like, there's gonna need to be some touch-up, but there's gonna need to be touch-up. I can't, like, I will literally go through every single board, fucking them up, if I just try and get it perfect. And I know this. I don't think I adequately explained that point, but like, and that kind of a thing is just fucking frustrating, man. Almost as frustrating as trying to do this. Which I guess there could be birds, which I do forget about. What was I gonna say? Why do these need to be so rare? I think genuinely, like, one of the things I noticed with the Avowed trailer... Oh, by the way, Avowed is a thing I just, like... I saw it completely out of the blue, and it's like, this looks like a really... I mean, it looks like Skyrim, but if Obsidian did Skyrim, except it isn't technically. the Elder Scrolls. It is not the Elder Scrolls, it is in fact its own universe. They do have furries, or furry adjacent creatures, so that's something. They also have flintlock pistols. And muskets. Which sure as shit makes me extremely excited. Oh, also, maybe the specific comparison for Skyrim is that you can dual wield, and it looks like you can mix and match in the same way that you can do with Skyrim. And like, obviously there are some two-handed weapons, muskets, but you could do a sword and gun thing, and I assume that it's also like you can choose whichever, because I find that, I haven't done any like HEMA or anything, and I'd love to at some point, but one thing at a time. I find that the idea of like a gun in my right hand, because that's just I'm kind of ambidextrous, but like in some things. Also, I don't know if it's just like graphical glitches or the particular flora, but just I'm getting, I don't know what it's called. I don't want to say hallucinations. It's not hallucinations. They're just like seeing this as somebody with a face, as somebody with like a pumpkin head. This hunter's stalk. And then like the face follows you. I don't know what that is. It's not a hallucination. It's just like trying to process information too fast, I guess. Holy fuck, I also love ranting, apparently. I'm just realizing. I'm not just realizing. Oh, I think I was mentioning something about... Fuck, like, what am I missing here? Go to Frozen Plains and see if things carry over here. What was I gonna say? Oh, is that the abandoned mining platform? Oh, is that the spoopy one? Shit, man. Oh, what is the gravity here? 0.51. Okay. But yeah, luckily, I mean, kind of unfortunately, my mom has like a bunch of projects. As you know, it's also like to some degree, it's like I'm not gonna complain about helping. Like, whether justifiably or not, I will help out. It's like, I don't know. One time, my 3D printer's like is down, and it's sad. Like, I just don't know what the fuck is happening, and like, I don't even know. Like, the problem is like, my mom was like, oh, well, like, at one point she was like, oh, show me how to do the 3D printer. And like, I was like, okay, so here's how I do it. And then she never did anything with it. And then she was like, okay, so I tried to read the manual and I don't understand it. And it's like, what? And then she was also like, okay, so like, you know, she's a mental health provider, and she was talking about it with her patience. It was like, these 5th graders can figure out. I'm like, yeah, and you couldn't. It was like, good lord. And she was like, I can help out with the floor. And it's like, okay, look. There are some times when it's just like, for one thing, is very busy. And like, she will absolutely somehow manage to find time to do it. Like, don't get me wrong, she will. And I think she would, but like, I don't know. Don't know. And she has ripped up the carpet. So I feel like I might have mentioned this before when this was a thing that was happening. Anyway, but yeah, like, that's a thing. I am getting deja vu. Which means I must have talked about this before. Sorry, but yeah, it's like, it is that sort of a thing, though. That's like, you say you're gonna do a thing, and I don't think you will, and I am also completely guilty of that on several fronts as well. Like, you know, pot calling the kettle black is absolutely a thing that is happening. But I also really like gossiping, which I feel like, apparently, I don't know if it's gossiping, but like, I don't know. I will call shit when I see it, I guess. Yeah, at least with my parents, who I'm pretty sure won't see this. Good lord, I don't know. I don't want to be trauma dumping, but still, goddamn. Gotta say, like, I don't know. Relationship with my parents is complicated. A queer person's relationship with their conservative parents is always going to be odd. But they don't know I'm queer, even though, like, I'm extremely out on all of my stuff. They literally just don't care to look at my stuff. Like, and like, I'd love to be wrong, but also, I would love to be wrong. But I, like, and sometimes in life, I just am wrong. Like, that is a thing that happens. Absolutely. Don't think I'm wrong about this one. But, yeah. It is what it is. My workbench. Oh my god, though. My workbench is a whole thing. So like I said, it's 4 feet by 8 feet. And I don't want to go over to the drill. Jesus, fuck. Okay, also, I'm sorry. I should not be here. Fauna and flora is complete. This looks like Rocky Desert? Oh, that's kind of cool. See if it's probably just going to be a coast, and it's not going to be like a Great Lake or anything. Abandoned farm, eh? Think abandoned farms got titanium? These hunter stocks genuinely are freaking me out. Not freaking me out, creeping me out. Excuse me. Oh my god. I don't know. I want to say something about flatulence, but also like it's one of these things where obviously like, dude, believe me. I do everything. Also, let me make sure. Okay. I do everything to make sure that like anything gross is or at the very least, that somebody might see as gross. Okay, maybe that's not true. I do eat. I try my best to make sure that people aren't, you know, uncomfortable as a result of my, videos. But that's not to say that it works 100% of the time. I think my microphone's really good, but also I need to figure out a better mounting solution for it. Is one thing. Oh, they ate their legs. Lovely. Yeah. Oh, sorry. My workbench. Sorry. Yeah, so 4 feet by 8 feet, I think. Yeah, it's gonna have, it's English style, so it's like a frame, and it has a bunch of supports. Well, actually, it doesn't have a bunch of supports, because well, it has supports, and then also, it has, planks, not one giant board for the tabletop. But several planks that are gonna have to be planed or flattened or in some way leveled or not. Probably won't be for a time, if I'm honest. And, yeah, so typically, you know, it's 4 by 8 feet, so you would have, you know, every foot you would have a support in the middle of the frame. That was, you know, the 4 feet in my case. And that's not what I did. In the middle, I took the 3... I attempted to make 3 2x3s, and use those as, you know, the front, the back, and the middle. And I think it worked out... I think it'll work out well enough, but, it is definitely kind of shoddy, just in terms of the overall quality of it. Again, I do think it is larger than it needs to be. But, yeah, in that frame, it is also... The legs are, 4x4s. They're just screwed in because that's, like... I don't need to go crazy, and I just need to get this done. I put some angles... on the long side, and I need to put some angles to form a triangle so it's actually solid and doesn't wobble. And it's gonna wobble on the short side because I have not put those supports in, and that's what the 2x4 was for. Oh shit, am I over encumbered? I need to drink. We're both. Do I have water? I really hope I have just water. Damn. I have very heavy water, which is... sure. God, I heard somebody... I saw one video. It was a reaction to a thing. But it was a reaction to, like... somebody who was saying, like, water is a solvent. You wouldn't drink a solvent, would you? And it's like... holy fuck. Listen. I'm not gonna tell you that you shouldn't have a healthy amount of skepticism, but like... I don't know. Be skeptic of the skeptics. Be skeptical of the skeptics. Especially ones like that. Like, yeah, that's insane. Oh, like, you know what one thing I'm, definitely have some, reservations about a little bit? I don't doubt it, because, like, the physics make sense to me, but, bullets, like, if you shoot a bullet out of a gun, and you drop a bullet at the same time, then, like, they will hit the ground at the same time. Because gravity is imparted the same way, whether this thing is going at a velocity of however fast, or a velocity of not at all. But, like, the skeptical thing is, like, so the bullet spiraling doesn't create any lift, or doesn't, like, force air, it creates no lift at all. Like, really? That... I guess I can see that, but also it seemed, I don't know, it feels like it would be, especially if it was supersonic, like, it feels like it would be pushing the air in theoretically every direction, right? And, like, to some degree that would be creating a little bit of lift, but also, like, that's assuming it's supersonic, which definitely not all bullets are. Then there's also, like, how accurate is the testing with the bullets? Because the bullets themselves are not perfectly identical in terms of weight, in terms of mass, in terms of how much mass is, you know, actually, like, being acted upon by gravity. So, like, and then not to mention that some dumbass would probably hear bullet and, like, they would shoot a bullet, but then drop a full casing, which, like, also would definitely skew things. So, like, one of those things where, like, and, like, there is and I trust that the people who are saying that have done the tests. Don't get me wrong, but, like, it is, like, that is some level of, like, here's why I'm skeptical. I guess it would make sense that this does check out. My understanding of aerodynamics possibly is not the best. There is a channel, Talflatermouse, who does a bunch of custom shotgun videos, or custom shotgun shell videos, and, one of the things you'll see a lot, is not a lot of fauna. Fuck, I hate this. What was I gonna say? Oh shit. What was I gonna say? something aerodynamics of the bullets. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I lost it. I'm sorry. I lost it completely. But yeah, it's a... Yeah. Should always be a little bit of skepticism. I think it is fair. Also, I love seeing Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about just everything. Like, I don't know. It is also an interesting thing, right? Getting off of the anxiety of rating Proton John. You know, like with your heroes, and I feel like I'm probably there's a lot of things I'm probably talked about before. Like, okay, if I could have dinner with Neil deGrasse Tyson or Proton John, who would I rather have dinner with? Sorry, but like Neil deGrasse Tyson, which I think is probably what a lot of people would say. I don't know, I feel like... I don't know. But I also feel like there's a lot of information that just like... I just want to learn a lot of information from him, and I don't know how much I want to like necessarily hang out with him as a person. And that, to some degree, I guess that does kind of seem a little unfair. You know? Like, I mean, oh, who would you want to spend dinner with? And maybe it's, maybe to some degree it is specifically, like, that question of, like, who would you want to spend dinner with? Versus, like, who would you want to have them take you to their work for the day? That would be a completely different story. And I would feel completely different about it, although I would probably still say Neil deGrasse Tyson. I also feel like... Yeah, I feel like to some degree hanging out with Proton John at his work, streaming, yeah, I feel like that's a little bit more doable. Not in the, like, definitely is the viewer-streamer relationship sort of thing, but also, like, if I wanted to be a co-com, there would probably be easier to do that than to get into work or wherever Neil deGrasse Tyson works. Yeah, although that's like, I don't know, that could vary. Depends on if they need janitors. I don't think streams need janitors, and mods are as much stigma as there might be. Oh, I'm nervous, Ariel. What the fuck am I doing? What is happening? Hello? Deciduous forest. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, there has to be another biome. Then I didn't see one for the longest time. Oh, I will say, back to crafting stuff. Star Citizen. No. There's nothing really too new about Star Citizen. Although I'll save that for another episode if you don't mind. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a new table because the one I made was too small, which is, again, it's fine. I really like the table, and like... It's like, I don't have any place for it in my room. but like it's a thing that's like, yeah, no, this needs to be. This is a. I love the design, and I want to make more. It would be a really good nightstand. Aside from the fact that you probably want drawers for a nightstand, it would be a good nightstand or an end table, and like it needs a little bit of work because like it needs to be flat on the bottom, and it just needs to be like it needs to be flat on the bottom. It needs to have be something that is cat proof as much as anything can be, but it currently is not. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but I actually am really excited because the thing I have in my mind is really cool, where it's the same sort of thing, except it's gonna be using 2x2s. It's gonna be the same sort of three-legged affair, except there's not gonna be a shelf on the ground, but there's gonna be a shelf and then a larger like tabletop, but then there's also going to be a sort of like, I don't know if it's the right term, but a floating shelf, which isn't floating, but like it's just like a shelf that's on top of it. It's sort of more of a decorative shelf, I guess. I don't know what the best way to describe it is. There's a lot of like coffee tables that have some sort of like tiered layer or tiered shelf thing. I'm kind of going for that. I really should make a video or make videos on this stuff, but like I don't know. I guess it could be something to start posting to like Blue Sky. That could be good. I don't think there's a lot of furries that do carpentry. Although it's not carpentry, excuse me, it's furniture building. Carpentry is building houses, although like it's one of the tomato thing. Isn't it so interesting also? Like the clip versus magazine thing for guns. I saw some videos where it's like, okay, listen, the Oxford Dictionary literally is saying that clip and magazine are interchangeable. Like, magazine just sounds right to me, clip doesn't. Like, clip to me is something completely different, because, like, historically speaking, they were two different things. But also, historically, I have zero doubts that soldiers, like in World War II, like a US Army private who was being issued, who was going to, you know, be seeing an M1 Garand with N-block clips and M1 Thompson with 45 ACP magazines. Yeah, they're gonna be. Yeah, they're gonna get the terms mixed around. And they're gonna just say clip, or they're just going to say mag when they are two different things. And like it is what it is. But also, yeah, it's also like, I don't know. I stopped like paying too much attention to the gun sphere. The gun stuff, because like well, I guess frankly I watch in-range TV a lot, and I love the stuff. He doesn't do a lot of content. He doesn't do a lot of content. I don't know necessarily how much he does outside of like Patreon, or how much Patreon exclusive stuff he does. He also puts on shooting matches, so like, yeah, like it's a lot. And it's also a lot about, there is also a lot of talk about like civil rights and history, and like that's very valuable shit. and I love it, but yeah, I don't follow too much stuff, but there is some interesting stuff happening. Like Glock patents, I think the patents ran out on Glock like a while ago, and you have, like, you will find years of people literally making Glock clones. Apparently Ruger is making literally just their own Glock, which is kind of funny. Because like all of these companies basically were copying Glock, except that they had their own patents and they were technically not Glocks. But now it doesn't matter, so they can just copy Glock, and it's like, I don't know, it's kind of funny. Like, as a kid, as a teenager, I was really enamored by the aesthetics of the Ruger SR9 in particular. I don't know necessarily, but I think that the SR9 has kind of a shitty reputation. Like, when I went to shooting range and shot it, it jammed multiple times, I think. It was also a gun that I had my hearing protection off and did, in fact, lose a little bit of my hearing. But it was, you know, it wasn't too bad. Oh, there's also the Keltec. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Keltec's making a 5.7 pistol that uses. It is a traditional layout of a handgun, but instead of using a detachable box magazine like you would see in your Glock or your USP or your 5.7 or whatever, it does actually use stripper clips, like in a similar situation to like a Steyr Hahn, which is to say it feeds through the top of the gun into a magazine that is located in the same place you would normally see it, but that magazine is simply internal and integral, cannot be removed. The reason to do that, according to them, and yeah, it would make sense, is that you don't have to make the magazine and then the frame around the magazine. You can just have the magazine, so you can have the gun be thinner. And how much slower is it to load clips? Keep in mind that they only come in clips of 10, so you have to, and they're stripper clips, so it's not just put a clip into the thing. It is, you have to, you know, put the clip on the gun and then push the 10 rounds in, and it's 10 out of 20. Which, for all intents and purposes, is fine, but, you know, it's not the best thing. Anyway, but it's an interesting trade-off, especially for a handgun. Till next time, have a good day, great day even. Chowskis.